Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today is part 2 of my doubleheader today for day 4 out of 5 on my doubleheader and day 84 of my 200-day posting streak goal. And today I'm doing my top 25 MLB players of the 2010s. Now before I give you who I think the top 25 players of the 2010s are, feel free to share who you think the top 25 players of the 2010s are down below in the comments. And let's begin. Number 25, I'm going to go with King Felix, who had a sub-3.5 ERA, over 1,600 strikeouts, and just over 1,800 innings pitched. If it was first half, he probably would have been 10 to 15 spots higher, but the second half of the decade, he wasn't great, but he was still good enough to squeak in at number 25. Number 24, Manny Machado. Not one of my favorite players, but I can't deny how good he was. He had almost a 280 average, over an 820 OPS, and he had over 200 home runs and 2 gold gloves, which is great for a third baseman. Number 23, Zach Greinke, who had a 3.2 ERA, over 1,700 strikeouts, and over 2,000 innings. That's pretty good. Now coming in at number 22 is Yadier Molina, who batted over 280, had almost 100 home runs, and won 7 gold gloves. Yeah, he is probably the best defensive catcher of all time, and he was very consistent in the 2010s. Now coming in at number 21 is Nelson Cruz. Now, Nelson Cruz is the one where steroids definitely come into the conversation where, this was when players were actually clean again. This wasn't the steroid era. And he also doesn't play defense. However, he still batted almost 280, had over a 350 on base and almost a 900 slugging, and 346 home runs, which is the most of a decade. So for me, I will still put him here at number 21. Number 20, Andrew McCutchen, who batted over 280, had over a 370 on base, over an 850 OPS, and also hit over 200 home runs, had over 170 stolen bases, and won a gold glove. So Andrew McCutchen was very good in the 2010s. Now coming in at number 19, I'm going to go with Giancarlo Stanton, who batted over 260, had over a 350 on base, and over a 900 OPS, and hit over 300 home runs. And he had 59 home runs in 2017. Now coming in at number 18 is Bryce Harper, who had over a 275 average, over a 380 on base, almost a 900 OPS, also had over 200 home runs and almost 100 stolen bases. Now coming in at number 17 is Freddie Freeman, who has been even better this decade, but in 2010s he was still very good, especially towards the second half. He had almost a 300 average, he had over a 370 on base, and over an 880 OPS, and hit over 200 home runs. Now coming in at number 16, I'm going to go with Chris Sale, who had just over a 3 ERA, had over 2,000 strikeouts, and just over 1,600 innings. Now coming in at number 15 is Big Papi, who obviously didn't really play defense, but he was one of the best hitters of a decade, so I'll still put him here at number 15. He batted almost 290, had over a 380 on base, over a 940 OPS, and hit over 200 home runs in basically just over half the decade, by the way. Yeah, Big Papi, he was a once-in-a-generational hitter. Now coming in at number 14 is Mookie Betts, who only played just over half the decade, but he was great. He batted over 300, had over a 370 on base, had almost a 900 OPS, and also hit over 130 home runs, stole over 120 bags, and had 4 gold gloves. Yeah, Mookie Betts was amazing in 2010s. Now coming in at number 13 is Jose Altuve. Definitely a controversial one because of the 2017 Astros, but he was still undeniably one of the best of the 2010s. He batted over 310, had over a 360 on base, over an 820 OPS, and also hit over 120 home runs, stole over 250 bags, won a few batting titles, and also won a gold glove. So it's like, yeah, even though he was definitely a controversial one, and I'm not a big fan of Altuve, I can't really deny that for a second baseman, this is pretty spectacular, and yeah, he is still number 13 of a decade. Number 12, I'm going to go with Adrian Beltre, who had over a 300 average, over a 350 on base, and also had an 870 OPS, and hit over 200 home runs and won 3 gold gloves. Yeah, Adrian Beltre, he was amazing, and he will be number 12. Number 11, just missing out of the top 10, is Robinson Cano, where if he didn't take PDs, I might have put him in the top 10. But even with that, he still batted over 300, had an over 860 OPS, which is great for a second baseman, and also hit over 230 home runs and won 2 gold gloves. So even with some steroid stuff, I will still put him at number 11. Number 10, I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt, who batted almost 300, had almost a 400 on base, and had over a 900 OPS, and hit over 240 home runs, stole over 120 bags, and had 3 gold gloves. Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt was amazing in the 2010s. Number 9, I'm going to go with Jacob deGrom, who had a 2.62 ERA, had just over 1,200 strikeouts in just over 1,100 innings. So it's like, even though he only played just over half the decade, he was pretty unbelievable, especially during 2018, where he had a 1.7 ERA and won 2 Cy Youngs in the decade, one in 2018, one in 2019, despite the fact he didn't really get that many wins. Wins don't really mean anything, and yet deGrom completely redefined pitching. He completely redefined pitchers and redefined how you could still be dominant without getting any wins. And yeah, deGrom, if he played the full decade, he probably would have been top 3, but even with that, he's still number 9 of the decade. He was so good in 2010s. Now coming in at number 18 is Buster Posey, who batted over 300, which is amazing for a catcher. He had a 370 on base and an over 820 OPS, and hit 140 home runs. If it weren't for injuries, he probably could have been top 5, but still, Buster Posey was still amazing, and he also won 3 World Series. Now, coming in at number 7 is Justin Verlander, who won 2 Cy Youngs in a decade, including winning an MVP in 2011, had a 3.1 ERA, had over 2,200 strikeouts in just over 2,100 innings. Yeah, Justin Verlander was pretty amazing in the 2010s and is one of the best pitchers in my lifetime. Now coming in at number 6 is Max Scherzer, who's basically on the same level as Verlander. He won 3 Cy Youngs during the decade. He won a World Series with the 2019 Nationals. He had almost 2,500 strikeouts, 2,452 to be exact, which is the most of a decade, in just over 2,000 innings. He might be the greatest strikeout pitcher of the last 25 years. And yeah, Max Scherzer was pretty amazing during the 2010s, and he will be number 6. Number 5 is Nolan Arenado, who batted just under 300, had just under a 900 OPS, still hit over 220 home runs, and won 7 Gold Gloves in 7 seasons. He won a Gold Glove every year he played. Yes, the Coors Field effect is something that people might debate, but for me, these numbers aren't just a product of Coors. Nolan Arenado was legit that great during the 2010s. So yeah, for me, I am going to put him here at number 5. And number 4 is Miguel Cabrera, who I think is probably the second best hitter of the decade. However, because he moved to DH during the second half of the decade, that will bump him down here at number 4. But still, 317 average, 399 on base, and 943 OPS, 268 home runs. He won 2 MVPs, including the Triple Crown in 2012. Yet Miguel Cabrera was pretty amazing, and he is in number 4. Number 3, I'm going to go with Joey Votto, who had a 306 average, a 428 on base, which is the highest of the decade, including leading the league in on base 7 times, and also had a 942 OPS and 231 home runs. Joey Votto was one of the best of the 2010s. And even though his career was relatively short, his prime was unbelievable. And yeah, he will be my number 3 of the 2010s. Number 2 and number 1, I honestly think is pretty close. But number 2, I'm going to say, is Clayton Kershaw, who, had a 2.31 ERA, which was the lowest of a decade by quite a bit. Had 2,179 strikeouts, which is in the top 5 of the decade, and did it in just under 2,000 innings. But yeah, Kershaw, he was a once-in-a-generation pitcher. I think he ended his career as a top 5 of all time. He just retired last year. I was actually at his 3,000th strikeout game, which was amazing. Kershaw, best pitcher of my lifetime, and I think he's the second best player of the 2010s. But coming in at number 1 is Mike Trout, who basically only played 8 years in a decade, but was unbelievable. Had a 305 average, 419 on base, 1,000 OPS in a decade is pretty crazy. And he also hit 285 home runs and stole 200 bases. Mike Trout in the 2010s was pretty unbelievable. And even though the second half of his career has been a little bit disappointing due to injuries and just slower production, his run in the 2010s was pretty unbelievable. And yeah, I think he is the best player of the 2010s. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share who you think are the best players of the 2010s down below in the comments. And this is video 2 of my doubleheader day number 4 out of 5 for day 84 of my 200-day posting streak goal. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.